If you served and you're trying to break into cybersecurity right now, I want to tell you something you probably don't fully believe yet. You likely already have more relevant experience than half the people applying for the same job. The problem isn't your experience, though. It's that nobody taught you how to translate it. Today, I want to walk through exactly why that translation gap exists, and more importantly, exactly how to close it. Because a security clearance, hundreds of hours standing watch, operating under strict procedures where one mistake had real consequences, that experience maps directly onto what cybersecurity roles actually need. It just doesn't map automatically. And a resume that lists a rank and a duty station leaves a civilian hiring manager to do translation work most of them simply won't take the time to do. Here's the core issue though. Military job descriptions are written for an audience that already speaks the language. If you write watchstander or custodian of classified material or a specific rate or MOS on a resume, another service member instantly understands exactly what that meant. A civilian recruiter scanning 200 resumes for a SOC analyst opening, that means almost nothing to them. And I want to be clear, that recruiter isn't being dismissive. They generally don't have the context to translate maintain OPSEC for classified communication systems into what it actually means, which is understands data classification, access control, and information security fundamentals at a real operational level. There's a second piece to this too. A lot of veterans were trained for years to describe their work with precision, without embellishment, and that habit, which is a generally good habit, sometimes causes people to undersell work that was actually really impressive. Real operational security, real incident response under pressure, systems where availability and integrity weren't abstract concepts. They had real stakes, and it gets flattened down into a bullet point that reads like a routine admin work, right? So let's get practical here. Now, here's what actually translates and how to say it. Security clearance work, a clearance itself already tells a hiring manager something concrete. It says, this person has been trusted with sensitive information and has demonstrated they can follow strict access control and handling procedures without deviation. Don't just list the clearance level as a line item. Say what it actually proves. This answer, that's answering the exact question every single hiring manager is quietly asking. Can I trust this person with sensitive systems, standing watch, or any shift-based operational role? Here's one translation. That is functionally incident monitoring, watching for anomalies, escalating appropriately, following a defined response procedure under real-time pressure. That is the same underlining skill a SOC analyst uses staring at security dashboard. Don't write stood watch, write it in terms of monitoring, anomaly detection, and escalation procedures. Suddenly, a hiring manager sees the connection instead of having to guess at it. Systems maintenance and operational readiness. If your role centered on keeping equipment or systems mission ready, that translates closely to operational security and systems administration. Both fields are built around the same core idea, maintaining availability and integrity under real constraints. Keep the phrase operational readiness if it applies to you. It signals exactly the reliability mindset security teams are looking for. Just pair it with a plain language explanation of what that actually involved day to day. And leadership and training roles. If you were non-commissioned officer or trained and supervised junior personnel, you're sitting on something generally underrated. The ability to communicate technical or procedural information clearly and get buy-in from people who don't want to change how they operate. That is precisely the skill that separates security professionals who plateau from the ones who move into leadership. Name that experience directly. Don't assume a hiring manager will infer it just from a rank on a resume. Let me show you what this actually looks like on paper. Here's a weak version. Responsible for maintaining security protocols for classified systems. That tells a civilian hiring manager almost nothing. Here's the same experience rewritten. maintain strict access control and data handling procedures for classified information systems with 0 security incidents over a 3-year assignment. That is a specific, verifiable story. A hiring manager can immediately connect that to a real cybersecurity requirement they're trying to fill. Same experience, completely different resume. The goal here isn't to inflate anything, it's to describe accurately what you were actually doing in a language a security hiring manager was trained to recognize. Now, I want to be honest with you about one thing. Translation gets your resume noticed. It does not replace closing real technical gaps if they exist. A clearance and operational discipline will get you an interview. They won't, on their own, replace a hiring manager wanting to see some evidence of hands-on technical fundamentals, networking, systems administration, or a foundational certification in progress. The strongest transition I see combines an honestly translated military background with one small current technical project, a home lab, a certification you're actively working through, something that shows the technical foundation is being built right now, not just implied by a service record from a few years ago. So military experience is real, relevant experience. It just has to be told in the language that the next audience actually speaks. I wrote a full breakdown of this on a blog this week, including more examples of exactly how to rewrite specific roles. Links in the description. If you're a veteran working through this transition right now, I generally like to know what the hardest part to translate onto a resume is for you. Drop it in the comments. I read every one of them. So subscribe more of this every week, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for your service.